Missy said she would be right with us. She's going to get Scout to sleep real quick. Lori, I don't know if you've seen that or not.
Miss, I was just going to start. Do you want to start since you're on?
All right. Hello, everyone. Happy GTC Huddle. So pumped to be here. So excited. So pumped about my Fleur lip cream. If you guys have not used it, you need to use it. It's amazing. Hot pink lipstick, right? At nighttime. It's good to go. All right. So we are recording. And tonight's really all about you guys sharing. I think probably all of you, if not most all of you, were part of the virtual GTC, which was so incredible. And we really just always give opportunity for people to share just a big takeaway for them, or an aha moment, or something that really impacted you and it tugged on your heart, or it just really caused a shift, whether it was in your belief or in your goals or your, attitude, whatever those things are. And so we really want to hear from those particularly that were first time GTC goers, because the first time, you never get to replace the first time. That first time experience is oh so special. The first time you get to hear Cecilia Stoll is quite remarkable. And so it's just a really wonderful thing. So obviously, if this isn't your first GTC, we would love for you to share as well, but we want to definitely make sure that you guys that are new or newer, make sure that you know that you have as much place to share, and we want to hear from you, and we want to really hear what impacted you and and what you're excited about. So is there somebody who is brave that would love to kick us off and go first? Okay, if you all don't.
I will
I know.
start. I'm gonna go ahead and get this over with, because if not, I will sit here and I'll stress about it.
That's awesome.
So, so this was my first GTC, and I was really, really bummed about not being able to go to Vegas, because to me, and I'm like a weirdo, but to me, I really, really missed out on the opportunity of just being with all of you all, because I jumped in on the night before and was like listening in to everybody who was kind of in on the pre-party and who had been there before, and it just kind of made me so sad, because I don't have any of those stories. I don't have any of those memories. I don't have any of those connections with you all. And that's what I want the most, is to just be really connected and kind of like feel like I'm part of the group type thing, you know? And so I'm looking forward to going next year and meeting all of you all in person and having all those memories and connections and pictures to upload and share and stuff like that. But as far as like the takeaway from GTC, oh my goodness, there were so many takeaways. And I think my new girl crush is going to be Cecilia Stoll. I have like 2 pages of notes from whenever I listened to her. And honestly, I think that I know for me personally, I did get a lot from every one of the speakers, but really just how everybody really focuses on working on yourself, how huge that is to grow your business, because I personally struggle with my self growth and my self-worth and all of that, and minding my mind. And so just how really important that is, and how once you really do that, then your business really seems to grow from that. And so I think my biggest takeaway is really going to try to focus on my personal growth and my personal mind and growing personally, so I can in turn flourish and grow my business.
That's awesome.
So that was probably my favorite takeaway, but there were many great takeaways.
Yeah, that personal development or that self-development, like we've talked about, is vital. You can only grow your business to the level that you grow as a leader or as a person, really. So, and just to clarify for the rest of you, there was no pre-party that any of you all missed out on. That was just the leadership team. We were just missing each other, so we hopped on late that night and just hung out and chatted, and Tara got in on that. But don't feel like, what pre-party? I missed out. There wasn't a pre-party. So, but we did have a lot of laughs. A lot of us had been together for a long time, or we've traveled a lot together. And so we have a lot of fun memories, funny stories. And so that is one of the things. I don't know if she's on, but Amy Ford, who lives in Northern California, she said the same thing, Tara, that the one thing she was looking forward to really the most about GTC was getting to meet all of us in person. I mean, she knows Tara and I, but meeting the rest of you all in person, and just having that time to build friendship and connection, because she's all alone in Northern California. And so just to have those relationships is so important. So that's awesome. Thanks for going first and sharing. All right, who's next? Who else would like to share?
I'll go next.
Awesome.
Okay, so I literally just went through all my notes and I'm like, let me just pick out the like nuggets. I'm like, I have a full page and I haven't even rewatched it yet. But I would say my biggest, the area that hit me the most also was part of Cecilia Stoll. It was her number 3. And if you guys weren't there, her number 3 topic was passion for excellence. And she said 3 things during that like really hit me. The first one was, do you want to be known for average or excellent? And I thought that just like really hit me. It's like, okay, and not even just for personal reasons, not even like, oh, how do people perceive me? Just like, I want to be known as someone who like just exceeds excellence and like goes above and beyond and does the best for myself and others. And so that one was really good for me. And then the way you do anything is the way you do everything, which I think is so true, because you can have a week where you're just like on point, you get up early, you make your bed, you do everything, you are on track, and then all of a sudden one day, like you fall off that routine, and then all of a sudden it's 2 weeks later, and then like that, no routine, like you're just a hot mess. And so I thought that was a good point. And then this was really good too. So she also said too many people die at 30 and are buried at 90. And that hit me. I just have seen like in people around me, especially I know like my extended family and stuff, so much complacency. And I feel like that is just something I've seen so often, where like you get into this routine and you just do things because that's what you've always done, and you never really step out of your comfort zone. And so that's just something that I really don't want to be and want to strive to work against. That's it.
That's awesome. Sorry, I was muted. I was like, yes, that was so good. Yeah, one of her things that she has become known for most recently, I think she shared it at a big event a couple of years ago, is that she is determined to make the rest of her life the best of her life. And she cut out for me, so maybe she said that when she did her training. But yeah, that's so awesome, Kelsey. I love that. Who else had a takeaway, a nugget?
I'll go, Missy.
Awesome, Jenna.
Okay, so this was my first GTC, and because last year we went on our honeymoon in the same week as GTC, and I regretted booking our honeymoon the same week because I just missed out on a lot. So I was excited that they still did a virtual this year, and so I just kind of really plugged in, and I took a couple notes from my notes because there's so many different things that I could say about it. But I think one of the biggest things that hit me the most, I don't remember who said it, but she said, listen as twice as much as you talk, and when you're talking to people and when you're reaching out. And another thing was like getting to know strangers and just starting conversation with strangers. Like somebody was talking about, she just used to like sit down and just start talking to their waitress, like when they were out eating dinner or whatever. And she said her husband and her kids were like mortified and embarrassed, but she was like, I would just get to know them, and then by the end of it, like I would have her contact information, and then there's a relationship right there, and she would just ask her questions and get to know her and listen. And so that hit me really hard because I've always struggled with reaching out to people in person and just saying like, hey, I see this in you, not even, meeting them for a minute or so. And so I've always struggled with being that bold to just like say it. And so that's definitely something that I want to work on. And that's one of my commitments, is being bold enough to just say something in person, when I meet somebody or whatever the case may be. So that really hit me really hard, and really just like going the extra mile to meet new people. Like instead of going through the drive-through at Starbucks, you go inside to meet people, or like things, just little things that you wouldn't normally think about. I want to start doing things like that when we can, but I want to start doing just those little things and see what a difference it can make. And kind of just the last thing that hit me really hard was somebody said, committed people just do it. And that's kind of just the bottom line, is just doing it and just going for it and having that unwavering belief and going for it, even if it doesn't work out the way that you kind of want it to, just going for it anyways, and being able to say that you gave it your all and you did your all. I just love that. So yeah.
Yeah, those are awesome things, Jenna, and huge, really. They're small shifts you'll make, but they'll make a huge difference. Just noticing people, slowing down a little bit in stores, paying attention to your Starbucks barista, it can absolutely make a huge difference. I love that. All right, who's next?
I can go, Miss.
Awesome.
So before GTC, you asked what we wanted to get out of GTC, and I just said like faith in the company and just belief. I guess that's what I said, belief in the company. And that was beyond surpassed. So for me, one of the big things that I really appreciated, and Mel and I were on a little Discover Arbonne earlier this evening, and I just shared like how like seeing Jean David and hearing him and hearing like how this is him, like this isn't just a business, this isn't just his career, like this is like his heart is captured in this. And then just everyone, obviously it was just so cool. And so I like definitely walked away with a whole heck of a lot of belief. But then just a huge takeaway for me, on top of that, where did I write it down? I'm always afraid to just like go for it and like ask. So very similar to what a lot of people have shared, but I'm trying to remember, I don't even remember who said this, but I think it was when they were just talking about social media, but they said authenticity is perfectly imperfect. And I was like, okay. And yesterday anytime I started getting nervous about messaging someone, I was like, authenticity is perfectly imperfect. And I just kept saying that. And so that was just really cool. And then kind of the last thing was just like the big, it was really sweet for me to hear Cecilia also talk about her heart for giving, because that is my heart for having started this, like, and it just has continued like all weekend. It's like all I can think about is like, okay, so this business is going to happen because I need to not be doing my full-time job anymore, because I need to be able to do X, Y, and Z that I want to do. And it just like was so firmed up. And so I spent most of Cecilia's talk crying, because it was just like, that's what I'm going to do. And if I could be Cecilia and walk up to Petter, if he was still here, and say like, you don't know me, my name's Katie Kluver, but you're gonna know me, like, that's kind of my new thing. So I'm just gonna be following in her footsteps, because there's just no other option in my mind. So
That's awesome. You can go up and do that to Stian. He'll love it. He's like
okay.
Norwegian. He's like 6'5" and loves to give hugs, and he's so sweet.
Perfect.
What was it for you, Katie, that kind of helped validate, was it anything other than hearing from Jean David, or was it just kind of getting to have that personal voice from him?
I think a lot of it was that personal voice from him, but then just how like everyone that we saw from the home office, like there was just so much passion. I mean, all the way down to the attorney, there was just like so much passion. And it was just very clear to me that they really believe in this company. And again, I just think that that's so huge, because like you can do well at your job and not 100% believe in what they're doing, or different things like that. And then just how they continue to show like what is coming next and what they're working on. We're not stagnant. Like we're not just doing great and not going to keep growing. It's like, but there's more, and we can keep going. And just their deep love for us too. It was crazy. Like from the absolute beginning, when Debbie Neal was awarded, I don't remember what was the name of that.
It's kind of like the pinnacle. Like it's the one. What happens in the arena, for those of you that have not been there, it's a surprise for the person in the arena. So they're like kind of describing the person. You don't really know. They know where the person is sitting, and then they put a spotlight on this person. And then the person, like I have chills explaining it, like they come down to the stage and they get gifted and recognized, and they're sobbing. I mean, it is the most special award, and it has nothing to do with performance. It has all about to do with their heart to serve and love and give to others, and it's just so special.
Yeah, so I think just even launching it with that, it was just like, okay, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and one thing to just even encourage you guys a little bit more in this is in this idea of like their commitment to us and their sacrifice. So when Jean David decided to take this role as CEO of Arbonne, he is Canadian, he's French Canadian. And so he's actually up in Canada right now because of the quarantine. because his wife and their 2 children were not yet ready to move to California when he took this job. And so he lives in California alone and flies home 2 weekends every month to be with them in order to do what he does for us. And so you don't make that kind of a sacrifice as a family and as a person if you are not invested in the long term. And he is. And Group Rocher, I know the guy that got on with the like wrinkly V-neck t-shirt, he is like a billionaire, but he is the CEO or president of Group Rocher. His grandfather started it. They have, I don't know if I've told this to you all or not, but they have a 50-year business plan for Arbonne. So this is not something where it's just forecasting out the next 5 years or 10 years, but they have already mapped out really what they see for us as a company for the next 50 years. And so that should drive tremendous confidence that we are home, that we aren't going anywhere, and we are surpassing everything that they ever expected to see from us. We are blowing them out of the water, and they kind of can't get over us, and they love us because what we are producing and what we're doing. I mean, last year we grew by 100 million, and we're one of 9 brands, and like none of their other brands are doing that. So they're just, and the culture obviously of Arbonne is something like they've never seen before. So it's also awesome. So thank you, Katie, for sharing that. All right, just unmute if you'd like to share next.
I can go ahead and
Oh, awesome.
you want me to go? Okay. So I really connected with Rima Rafay. I think that's how you say her last name. But her like realizing like the foundations and the like 3 elements that you really need in your business. And the first one being awareness of like being aware of other people's why. And like how are you connecting with their core values? And then the second one would be discipline, just like that constant daily activity. And then third, she said self-development, which is like probably the biggest one. So just like continuously practicing strict development, like getting up earlier, and then like self-managing your time. And then I also loved how she said, these 3 things have to be non-negotiable. So like brush, bathe, and build. We should be doing those 3 things every single day without even like thinking about it. And then also what I really liked from hers is she talked about in like the self-development part is like writing out your positive strengths on one side and then your like areas of growth on the other. And then on the positive strengths part, you like write all of them down and like you want to own those and build upon those. But then in the areas of growth, that's where you want to like look deeper and practice, and that's where you'll start to strengthen. And so when I did that and I wrote them down, then I like went back to my notes, and Madeline Hill said, kind of towards the end of hers, she said, refuse to let our hesitations keep us from sharing this gift. And I just kind of added to it on my own. And I was like, because it's not about me, it's about like the impact that I'm going to have on others. And I think I just really need to focus on that because I have like so much hesitation. I like believe in this company, but it's like the belief in myself that I don't have yet. So that's where I'm like, it's not about me, it's about the others. And then, yeah, that was kind of all my like little snippet from today. Obviously, like I have tons more, but yeah, I really liked her the 3 foundation elements. So
that's awesome. And I thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being just so transparent, because here's the thing. All of us have to walk through this personal growth journey, and all of us struggle with the confidence or the insecurities or all of those things. I mean, it's just that I think across the board, that's the number one thing that holds everybody back is themselves. And it's like, because the skills are there, the products are there, the systems are there. It's just us as the variable. Mm-hmm. So know that you're in good company. I always love hearing that every EMVP started as a team of 1 and every EMVP started as someone that had some insecurities or some struggles in that area. And so I just love that. All right, I think, was it Kirsten, were you going next?
Yes, I'm here. I love everything you just said, Lily. Like, that was so good. And I love just like hopping on and seeing everybody's faces on the Zoom during the GTC. That was super special. So I think the thing that like struck me the most about GTC being my first one, it was like the amount of people that were in Arbonne. Like just when people started getting recognized and it was like MVPs and ENVPs and everything at the beginning, I was like, there's so many people involved on this, and like 35,000 people on the GTC virtual. Like I thought that was just crazy. It was like, it felt so real. I was like, okay, it's not just a couple people. This is a huge thing that we get to be a part of. I just thought that was so cool. And I think like there were so many good nuggets, like Leaders Adapt from Debbie Neal at the very beginning. And I think like hearing everything from everybody, I feel like everybody who shared just shared like consistency and discipline. Like those were the words that just kept getting hammered into my head. And I feel like those are the words we talk about all the time that are so important and special. But I think for me also, like the word just specific, I know some people shared about like when we're telling our story and when we're sharing Arbonne with people, like we don't have to vomit Arbonne over everybody, but like when we're sharing our story or meeting people, like noticing specific details, like sharing specific details in our story, but also like when we visualize our dream for our business or like our hopes, our mindsets, the things we want to build towards, like being specific. I think Cecilia still mentioned like she intentionally thought about how many like nations wide she wanted to be, and like she really thought about that number, and that really struck me. And then someone else on one of the other trainings had shared like, you know, what she's going to do with the income that she built, not just like a list of things. Like I have my whys, I just never been as specific. She just shared this whole like dream of this foundation she wanted to start, and it was like so cool and just inspiring. And it was like, I've never really thought about that, but I should take time to really think about like, you know, what does it actually look like? I want to help people obviously, and like I have specific things, but like I don't have that specific vision. And I just like, it was motivating for me to get more specific about what I'm working towards and what I'm building towards, because that's like just a stronger motivation if I can visualize it. So yeah.
Awesome. That's so good. I love it. I love hearing from you all. I love hearing your perspectives and just what touches you and speaks to you. So Kirsten, you're up. Kirsten, I can never remember all the KI, KRIs. Sorry. You know who you are, girl. Hit it. She's got her message.
My first GTC and I loved it. It might not be what I planned because it was going to be my first time flying a plane without my parents and have fun with my friends. But I had so much fun watching GTC with our team on Zoom. Eunice Ray did a training video and she quoted Angela Duckworth, "Grit, determined practice makes perfect." I have been a district manager for 2 years and I have told Edie that I want to be an area manager and I never do the work to promote to the next level. So right now, I'm going to book virtual parties and discover Arbonnes, and I'm going to practice to be a great leader and get better with practice.
Girl, you're amazing. That's amazing. I love it. And I can hear your giggle going on right now, right where you are. It's the cutest. And girl, I was looking forward to having you in Vegas with us. Getting you on your own out in Vegas. It was so fun. We'll do it next year. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being, again, just honest. Because the thing is, you guys, we can't move forward. We can't grow until we're honest with ourselves of where we're at, what we are doing, what we're not doing, where we want to be. Because we can say all day long, I mean, I have said this for years, everybody wants to be a VP. Who doesn't, right? Everybody wants to be a VP. That's not the question. The question is, am I willing to do the work? And am I willing to do the work long enough to get to where I want to be? And unless we're honest with ourselves that I'm not doing the work, or I'm not putting in the effort, or I'm not being consistent, you'll live in this place of frustration thinking, well, I want to be there. Why am I not? Right? So it's so good to have that level of self, just awareness, because then you know exactly where to start and exactly where to work. So thank you for sharing that. All right, who's next?
I can go. Well, I watched several of the videos, the extra videos that they gave us, and even just watching those, like, they amped me up. Like Kristen Stewart that shared about the true hair. I mean, it amps me up just to hear from them. And but the biggest things I guess I was going to share was Cecilia. She was amazing. Everybody was, but she said, do you look for solutions or a way out? And I feel like some days I'm like, solution, and then I get into a rut of way out for a few days, and then I'm like, oh, I gotta get back to solutions, and I just go back and forth. And then, you know, she has that like Tiger King quote where she's like, if you have time for Tiger King, you have time for Arbonne. But then she took it a step further and said, would you give up Netflix for 6 months to do the work? Oh, I was like, ooh. I don't know. And, you know, that just really made me think, and even just think about like how much time I'm spending on Netflix and how much I could be, you know, just not spending on Netflix so that I can put more time into the business. So, I mean, I think especially right now, there's so much time to be lazy, honestly. And so I think it just really kind of kicked me in the butt and made me be like, okay, I need to prioritize better. So that's my biggest things.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it was a good challenge. I cracked up when I just think it's hilarious how like culturally current Tiger King is, and just how people use it in all kinds of references. I heard on a training years ago, kind of along those same lines, just about doing, you know, making kind of some sacrifices, but Debbie Neal did not let herself text one person until she was an RVP. She only picked up the phone and made personal phone calls or personal contact with people because she knew there was so much more growth that would come for her doing that personal reach out than kind of having that text message. And I know that that's not for everybody, but I just will never forget that. I thought, oh my gosh, like what a level of discipline and just willingness to get uncomfortable in order to get, you know, where you want to be. So that's awesome. Thanks, Carol, for sharing that. All right, who's next?
I'll go.
Awesome.
Let's go. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm in my living room and there's like this random dead spot. So I'm sitting on the floor to avoid it. So if I go somewhere, it's a dead spot. Okay. So I made some bullet points as I've been like sitting here. I'm so bubbly. I get nervous talking in front of all you guys. So I needed the GTC for, I guess, a belief and like a kick in the rear end. So like Jenna and I, we went to college together, and then we've gotten to become better friends through this company, which is great. And I share with her all my happiness and all my struggles and whatever it is. And she kept encouraging us to purchase the virtual and like join the GTC and everything. And I was like, okay. But I was like, I already had to refund my first ticket because I thought I was going to be in Arkansas this week. And obviously that's not happening. But anyways, like, I was working at a coffee shop for hours a week. We got closed down because of COVID, and luckily, and like I'm blessed. He's over there doing dishes, so he can't hear me. But my husband still gets to work, and he has gotten a new job that is really good and a much better environment for him than his old job. And so, like I told Jenna, I was like, I don't really like asking for help. I never have. And so I told her, I was like, I need my Arbonne business, like, because I mean, I know like when you're married, like it's both of your money, but I just miss having my own paycheck. So I don't have to feel like I need, but hey, grocery money, hey, gas. I've always been that way. I like being able to spend my own. And when Jenna had messaged us about GTC, I was thinking, like, I will use it was like the day before, the night before you could it stop registering. I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I'm thinking she has no idea, but this is the last, like, this is it. Like, this is the last of my paycheck. Like, that's it. That's all of it. Like, it's gone now. So it better be worth it. So I used the last of my last paycheck that I got before we had to close the company down to do the GTC. And I'm very glad I did, because it was a good kick in the booty and I needed it. And some of my favorite quotes were, where'd they go? I'm looking in my little thing, my notebook. I buy pretty notebooks to encourage myself to use them. And so that's why I have this one, because it's pretty. Anyways, so there was the choose belief quote that I loved, because I've just struggled a lot with that in the business, especially moving, because also, yeah, I'm new to Texas. And so Jenna knew that too. She's been very helpful, because with Arbonne and everything, and working all the time because I didn't have anything else to do. I didn't have any friends here in this ginormous state, and I cried all the time, and I wanted to go home to my mom. I'd call my mom crying. My husband would be like, what can I do to make it better? And I'm like, I need friends. Like, I just need friends. Eventually I made friends. So that's good. God is good. But for a hot minute there, I was like, I'm not doing anything. Like, every day was just a pity party. And I told Jenna that. I was like, I'm sad all the time. I just cry all the time. I feel depressed. I don't care about anything. I go to work, and that's that. Like, I mean, I love my husband. I love my dog. But besides that, I ain't got anybody here besides my husband and a dog. And that ain't gonna cut it out. I mean, like, he's great, but like, I mean, I need, when he's gone at work, like, I'm talking to a dog all day, and it's gonna get bad if she talks back. So Jenna had mentioned the committed people just do. And then there was the leaders are readers, and I love to read. So I was like, okay, she's right. One thing that stuck out to me in particularly was the training, and I can't remember her name because I'm bad about writing down the names. Was this one girl, she said that when she wakes up, she has an alarm that tells her when she can get on social media. And I was like, ooh, I was like, man, I felt that in my stomach, because I will wake up and I'll check my phone, see if my mom has messaged me or anything. Normally it's her that has. And then I'll just like scroll on social media. And before I know it, it's been like an hour. One time it was almost 2 hours. And I was like, who am I? Like, is this what happens when I don't have a job? Like, I disgusted myself. I was like, you're disgusting. So this morning I actually got up. Granted, it was not before 9, because we stayed up late watching a movie, because he had the weekend off. And so I left my phone in the room. I actually took my husband's, and I kind of like hid it under the couch, because I said, you're doing this with me. And I said, read something. And he was like, what? And I was like, read something other than your phone. Like, we're doing personal growth today. And he said, we're doing what? And I was like, and then he's like, what do you do with my phone? And I like ran out of the room, and he chased me, just like being funny. And so I like threw it under the couch, and I was like, get a book or something. I'm getting the Bible. And so I read the Bible, which in college, reading the Bible is good anyways, but I was like, this will be my personal growth. And it was really nice. And I actually prayed over my business today. Jenna's always been like, praying over your business helps and is good. And then I'll be honest, like, I'll forget to pray about it. Like, I mean, I pray, like my husband and I pray, and then I'll forget to pray about it. So she's really good at reminding me to do that. And then the what to do when you feel like you've talked to everyone. When that girl said how many people are in the world and that I haven't talked to everybody, I was like, oh, she just like was wearing some steel toes and stepped on my shoes. So I was like, all right, you haven't talked to everybody. Time to get it together. And I wrote that down. Like, I even wrote down, message the girl. Y'all are gonna laugh. I'm glad it's all girls on here. Message the girl from the lingerie shop. What? Okay, so I went to a store to get a present for my friend, because she's a bride. And the woman was asking about my makeup, and I told her, and she got my info, and I think I have hers. I don't know. So like, that's one of my notes. Message lingerie shop. And then the top leaders in the business, everywhere they go, like they take their business everywhere they go, and they just talk. And my favorite thing was meet other humans. I don't know why, but I love that so much. And then the maximizing the time. and how like not having time shouldn't be an excuse. I mean, if y'all saw my schedule in college, you'd be like, you say I don't have time. Like, how do you do all this? And how I did it was insanity. And then my last little bit, like today, I did the thing with the I want it all. Like you sell the half off stuff. I was like, I told Jenna, I said, all right, God, we're gonna post this and see what happens, because I have no idea what's gonna happen, but something's just gonna happen. Well, I actually had some luck with that today and had people buy things, and I'm really excited. And so I loved the GTC weekend, even though it was virtual, because it was something I needed, and I want to be better and just a better person in general, because I haven't been my best self just because I got in a slump, like not working. I have like more free time. Honestly, it's more time to sleep in and watch Netflix, which I'm doing. And then I just realized I needed to get over myself and that I needed to be kicked in the booty, because my dad was always tough love. So I was like, you know what? I just need some tough love. And I told my husband that I was like, you should just tell me if I'm not working hard. Like, it's okay. Like, you should tell me. And so, like, he reminds me when I need to do something. Or like today, he was like, you want to get after it? And I was like, yeah. You gonna go change the oil? So, yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome. I love that. Thanks, Cheryl, for sharing. Those are absolutely the things. And I love that you were willing to invest that last little bit of money you have. Like, that's just a story that you'll be able to share with your team from here on out. And just if there's ever an excuse, if somebody's like, I don't have the money, you're like, look, I used my last $99 to pay for GTC. And that is a powerful testimony of just kind of, when we talk about throwing your hat over the fence, those are the kind of things we need. You know, not like doing this when it's convenient, not when you have a little bit of extra money, not when it's, you know, you got the time or you feel motivated or your favorite Netflix show isn't on. Like, that was one of the things I loved from Cecilia, was she just said, when things get hard, leaders lean in. And often when things get hard, most people shut down or most people take a step back. You know, how many people with what we're living in right now are just kind of using the, I don't know if I would say, and I don't know if I would say it's really an excuse, but they're kind of using this language of like, well, you know, I just, you know, there's a lot going on. And there is for some people, but there's not for a lot of people. But people will choose that narrative if they don't want to lean in. And so you have to be on guard as a leader when things get hard, when your goals seem scary, when your schedule is overly full and you don't know how to manage one more thing, when, you know, your finances feel like they're dwindling, when your team feels like it's quitting faster than you can sponsor them and life gets hard. Leaders lean in, average people retreat or shut down. And so I just love that. And that's, you know, just going along with some of the things that you were sharing. So who's next? You guys don't need to hear me talk. You hear me talk all the time. All right, who's next? I think Katie in South Dakota was going to share. Who else was going to share?
I can go. It just wasn't my first GTC, so I thought that you had wanted to for those people first.
You share it away, sister.
Okay, so one of my biggest takeaways was from Jessica. Is it Garsh?
Yeah, I think.
She was so powerful. I mean, like, I had some minor health issues compared to, I mean, what she went through. But I think it was just so powerful to hear, like I always tell my team and like just people that I'm like reaching out to, that Arbonne is like more than just the products, it's the community. I mean, like, my people are part of you guys are just my people. And so when she's like shared that story about how like it was whenever her team got off the plane at GTC last year, she was going into complete liver failure, and she only had a couple hours left to find a liver donor. And like Arbonne stepped up, and like because of Arbonne, she was able to find a liver donor. I think it was her liver, kidney, or something like that. And she said, when you change the way that you look at things, the things that you look at change. And that was just super powerful to me. And then another thing was from Madeline Hill, and she was super, like, it's just cool because she's like around like my age, and I follow her on Instagram, and I have for a while, and it's just like easy to resonate with her, whatever. But she said that she didn't even start her Instagram until the day that she started her Arbonne business. And so sometimes it's easy to get like intimidated when we're scrolling through social media and scrolling through Instagram by, you know, the girls, and you like the girls that are like our age, but like and ENVPs, just like super successful, and they got there in 4 months, and like it's just super easy to get intimidated by them. But it's also really reassuring to know that like she doesn't even like know what she's doing with social media, and like, you know, neither do I, neither do a lot of people. And sometimes like we say that we build our business through social media, but it's like, you know, we don't always. So that was super powerful to me too, and like just like easy to resonate with. But
yeah, I really loved her training, Madeline's. I just thought her delivery was so good, and I love just how she said, like, if you're not willing to like kind of get to know the person, then you don't need to reach out to them. And I just love that, because I feel like on social media platforms we can feel like maybe it's just something you just quick, you know, message all these people, and just, you know, the amount of time that she's invested in building relationships online like that probably takes more time than building a relationship in person, you know, in a lot of ways. So that's awesome, Katie. Thank you. All right, who's next? I know we have other first time or second time goers. We would love to
I'll
hear.
go because I have like 2 minutes and then I really gotta leave. So I'm Brianna. I'm in this for like 2 weeks now, and I was like, I had Megan and Ashley like message me like, hey, you should do this. And I'm like, yeah, I should. I need some training on this. I want to learn the products more. So right now my life is absolutely crazy. I'm having 80-hour work weeks. I'm working night shifts. I'm at a power plant. I'm like a weirdo compared to everybody else. I'm just abnormal. And I think that's part of my story and why my story is different. Also, I think that the nutrition part of it is why I got into this, and I need my body healthy because of like what I do to like stress out my body, what I do to like, I need to stay physically strong, physically fit. Like I work out, I run, literally so I can keep up with the boys. Okay. I mean, they're like 100 pounds over me. They can do a lot more different things, but I'm a little smaller. I can do a different couple of things too. So anyway, so I got into this business because of that. What I was surprised about, besides all the trainings, I was really excited to see like these videos that I can look at throughout the year. Like, yes, the discipline, the consistency was one thing that kind of stuck out to me. And because I got on here and I'm multitasking because I wake up in the afternoon, so I'd turn it on, and then I was really excited about the kids. But anyway, your why story and the sustainability kit, I was shocked to see. I was really excited about that. That's right up my alley. I'm really into that type of stuff. I think of, because working at this power plant and the stuff I see, and I think that's really important on how things are going. Your personal story, that to me is huge. Like I kind of do that anyway. I'm not a shy gal by any means, but I know that I am different, and that people are like, who know me, they're expecting that little Brianna difference, like that little niche. And anyway, and the hard conversations and go get uncomfortable. And to me, it's really hard for me to be like, hey, what do you think of this product? To me, it's like, I'm gonna just post a video, just go out there and just say it like how I would, and be like, here, this is like my shit show. So excuse my language. This is my shit show life. Like right now, I'm in this dirty Suburban at work, and I probably shouldn't be doing a video or, you know, Zooming, but I am. So that's a part of it, is to just be yourself and just completely honest and open, and otherwise people are going to see through that. And if you're not, so my little weirdisms and my whatever, if I'm not honest, I'm like, oh, well, I haven't tried that yet. I don't know, but I can find out for you. That's kind of like how I'm going about this. And I'm excited because I got the big discounts. That's why I'm excited. And I get all these trainings for the next year. And yeah, it was really cool. And the one thing that I was really shocked about was that I teared up and I cried a little bit, not just once or twice, but like it just hits home, especially in this crazy time right now. Like why am I still working out here? Why do they have all these contractors coming into the doors? Why do I think this company at this point in time, you guys don't know my background, they're trying to shut down my plant. I'm in North Dakota, and I work for a Minnesota company, and there's talk about shutting my plant down. And so I got into direct sales, and now this is my second direct sales that I got into is Arbonne. And I think because of that, Arbonne and my other direct sales company, groups like you guys, is what's going to help me get through this, make me stronger. You're my light at the end of the day. Like right now, all I do is like eat, sleep, do this. So this is my light, and I'm gonna keep pushing forward and making some posts, and this is it. Anyway, I'm gonna be quiet now. I have to go shut a truck off. So I will talk to you guys later. Thanks.
That's awesome. Girl, you're amazing.
Just got called.
Just to encourage you, one of our RVPs, Fallon Cruz, used to wear a hard hat. Sometimes I would get on a call with her and she'd literally be like, I gotta take off my hard hat to do my Zoom call. So you are in good company, and you know, I just love all of that. I love that you're willing to just jump in and take all of it in so quickly. I think that's just incredible. And just to encourage you guys, kind of with her saying, you know, she kind of has a different background. I heard a couple of years ago that if you haven't yet found a VP in Arbonne whose story is kind of your story, then Arbonne needs your story. So don't discredit yourself. Don't count yourself out because you don't really see your story necessarily yet within the Arbonne family. That all that means is that they need your story, whether it's your profession, your age, your life experience, your values, you know, what drives you. Everybody is better when we have more stories of people that come from all different kinds of backgrounds. And so I just love that so much. So I've never met her before. So that was a ton. I was thinking when we were doing the Zoom, I'm like, who's the girl in the hard hat? Where'd she come from? I love that. That's awesome. So fun. All right, who's next?
I'd like to go.
Yeah, go ahead, Ashley.
So this is my first GTC. And I actually started back December of 2018, but I couldn't go to the last one. But I've actually been super MIA in my business the last 6 months because I had a life-altering kind of event happen back in October, and my mom actually just passed. So I was very not wanting to work my business, definitely was MIA, didn't have any motivation, just kind of dealing with everything. But Kirsten and Lori and Edie reminded me that, you know, GTC was coming up, and I did have a ticket before my mom passed. So I ended up doing the virtual just like that day, woke up and was like, I'm going to go, like, I'm going to take off of work and I'm just going to sit down and I'm going to do this. And it's probably one of the best things that I've done. I'm way motivated in my business right now. And Meg Redler actually had her, I got a lot of good points from her. I'm a very checklist kind of person. So being able to like write something off, very analytical, but like having that 10 steps daily method of success is definitely something that I'm going to start doing. It's just to be able to like cross it out because there's so much to do in a day, and just having that laid out for me is definitely going to be a big help. And like having that power hour she had laid out, the first 20 minutes of personal reaching out, 10 minutes of checking in with preferred clients, 10 minutes of team building, 10 minutes of building relationships, and 10 minutes of working social media. Like just having all that laid out for me is definitely going to be a big help in working my business, especially because I'm still working at UPS and I'm still a full-time student. So being able to have that in a nice little package is definitely going to help.
That's awesome. I love that. And yeah, I think sometimes the biggest nuggets we take away are those tangible tools, those tangible how-to steps and stuff. So I love that, Ashley. Thank you for sharing. I just want to tell you all, the leadership team, we have a separate Voxer. We are blowing it up with how much we are impressed and blown away by all of you all just being bold and being courageous to share in a big group. I mean, at one point there was 45 of us on this call, and you guys are just like killing it. And so what that just is telling all of us as your leadership team is that you all are really the next wave of leaders, and we're going to get out of your all's way so you all can keep growing to the very top. So, all right, who would like to share next? We got about 8 minutes, and then I'm going to kind of call us at 10 o'clock. So who's next? Lori, do you want to share?
Yep, I'll share something. I just want to make sure we had all the, because I love hearing the nuggets. I think it's so fun, that first impression. And I will say, because this was my 5th GTC. I think it was my 5th or 4th. I thought they did a great job. It felt very interactive. I even questioned what was live sometimes, the way they kind of handed back and forth. So it was great. And I will say the best part is that you hear a lot of nuggets over and over, and that's what makes it great, because you'll hear the same thing, but it will sink in differently. And so a lot of the things, there were so many great takeaways. I literally was writing and highlighting, but I think one of the phrases Katie mentioned, and when you said it, I was like, yes, that was the one that I think I've never heard before, or maybe I've heard it, but it just sunk in this time. If you change the way you look at things, you change the things you look at. Let me say that again. If you change the way you look at things, you change the things that you look at. And so that just comes with growth. And I love hearing from all the new people in the districts, because all their struggles are all exactly the same struggles that we all have. So if you always feel like, oh my gosh, I can't do this because it's so hard, everyone feels like that. Unless you're like the anomaly that has 0 fears, it's just not the case. And even when you get the car, you still have the same fears, I promise you. So it's just best to really lean into that personal growth. It is the most important thing, and having those 20 seconds of courage to step out and do those hard things, because that's the way it's just the way it is. So you either, and some of my favorite like quotes or nuggets, they weren't really tools or takeaways, but Jessica Garsh, she says, fear, you just got to go through it. Nothing happens in your comfort zone. So you have to figure out where that is that you struggle, and then one step forward. And that's the hardest part. And we all have had to do that. It's different for everyone. So figuring out what that is for you that's holding you back. And then either empowering your fears or empowering your mindset. And mindset can be fixed. Sometimes it's a great song. Sometimes it's, doing something fun, changing your energy, changing your position, or reading a book. And it could be the right book. And I've learned not all books are going to speak to people the same way. So finding the right book, but we have a lot to recommend. And ask your upline. There's times I've asked Missy, like, what do you recommend? This is what I'm struggling with. And those are important to read the right book for you. But I think one of the things that, and I've never heard this too, and especially I think it's super impactful for now. I swore I wasn't going to cry. But on your darkest day, this can be your biggest gift. And it's not just Arbonne, the company, not selling things. It's this team. It's the people. It's the support you get with this group. And I promise you guys, if you're struggling, and everyone's struggling now for sure, COVID, isolation, relationships, family, all those things can be struggles, but this can be the solid. It can be, I promise you, because we all do this and everyone struggles with something. So I promise you that this can be the solid in your life. And even if you step away and you shrink back from the embarrassment or the fear, we're always going to be here. The support and the love that you will feel right here will always be here. And I've seen it, and I've leaned in and I've leaned out so many times, and it's here. No matter what, you'll never have the relationships that you can have in this team. And that was the one I circled the most. On your darkest day, this can be your biggest gift. And so just know that, and don't be embarrassed, and don't don't feel bad about anything because you are loved here no matter what. And I know Missy says it over and over, and sometimes we're like, yes, Missy, we know. We're loved, we're valued, we hear it, but sometimes you just gotta hear it. And I promise you, I was having a great, happy day, but I don't know, you see all the faces and you get to know the people and the stories behind them, and you just want to know that we're here for you guys, no matter what. And let this be your support system, because it can be in so many ways. And anyway, that was my biggest takeaway of all the 3 days, that phrase right there, because I needed to hear it. So that was my 2 cents, Missy, sorry. I vowed, I was like, do not cry. And then Ashley started talking and just like, oh my gosh, just because you know the stories, right? So.
Yes, on our darkest days, this is a gift, and it is a gift. And here's the thing, our responsibility is to give the gift away. Like Cecilia said, we get to be a reservoir, we get to be a river. We don't get to hold on to the finances or the time freedom or the gift of Arbonne and hoard it. We should live our lives open-handed and say, how many times can I give this away again and again and again and again? And like Lene said, it's not about us. Why we don't share this is because we think too much of ourselves, even though that's really never what we feel. That's actually what's happening, is we are thinking more of ourselves and how we're going to be received or rejected or ridiculed, instead of just knowing that the greatest thing that we can do is give this away over and over and over again. Because our lives, I would say all of you could say on some level your life has been changed in big ways, maybe in small ways. But if your life has been made better, then why not share that, with other people? So I think we are going to end on that, Lori, because I think that that's so powerful. And I think that you all that shared did such an amazing job. And you just, being able to hear from you all through that lens of a first-time GTC goer is so special and so wonderful. And so I hope you all just love this night and this time. I want to give a big shout out to the leadership team. I kind of asked them like, do you think we should have it or not? And they were like, yes, we need to have it. And that was absolutely the right call. And so I just appreciate their leadership and really their drive behind this. This ended up being our largest huddle we've ever had, participant wise. And so I'm just excited for all that's to come for each one of your businesses. And so check out the chat before I close us out here, but thank you all for being on. Love you all so much. And we're going to make it another great week with our businesses. All right. Love you all so much. Have a good night.
All of us took the be the last one on the call very seriously, so we're all just waiting for you to just totally end it.
This is the competitive right here. These are my competitive girls right here. You guys are like, we're just, I'm gonna get some popcorn. I'm just gonna
hang out all night.
All night. Gotta go potty. I'll come back. I'm still here.
I'm still here.
I'll mute you guys. I'll go to sleep. It was awesome.
It was so good. It was so amazing. So.
Y'all have a good night.